I'm your host, Claudia Jordan. Now, before we get started, I got to invite everyone to connect with us by commenting on that shady foxsoul.tv message board, or you can call us at 866-FOX-SOUL. That's 866-369-7685, because we're live and we love to hear from you. Now, I hope you're ready to dish and chat about everything that's breaking in the world of news, because we have just entered another session of the Ladies' Room. Tonight, we're covering some of the highlights from the NAACP Image Awards, the latest Harvey Weinstein news, and why Rihanna is once again trending and dominating your social media. Please welcome Little Women of Atlanta's Charlene Pearson, a.k.a. Miss Juicy. And entertainment correspondent, Elle Marie. Podcast host and author, Smith, to the show. Welcome. Miss Juicy, we used to work together on a radio show.
Yes.
What show was that?
Ricky Smiley Morning Show.
You're no longer on the show?
No, I am not.
What happened? Why? The fans want to know why you're not there.
Because Miss Juicy had other opportunities, and so I'm taking advantage of those.
I love you, Miss Juicy. I'm taking advantage of other opportunities, too.
Thank you.
It's so good to see you, though, because she was, you were such a breath of fresh air, and you made it very, you had my back when we were both in Atlanta, and I just want to say thank you. You good people. You are solid.
Thank you. So are you. That's the reason why I'm here today.
Are you nervous?
Not at all.
Okay. All right, now look, it was a star-studded event of Black excellence that filled the room at the 51st NAACP Image Awards over the weekend, and our girl Rihanna took home one of the highest honors of the night, the prestigious President's Award. Let's take a look.
I mean, how many of us in this room have colleagues and partners and friends from other races, sexes, religions? Show of hands. Well, then, you know, they want to break bread with you, right? They like you? Well, then, this is their problem, too.
What do you think about that? She's basically saying, if you got friends of other races and they see you as a Black or African-American here with our struggles, they need to be on board with our struggles as well.
I totally agree with that. Why not? I mean, you shouldn't call them friends if they can't be on one accord with you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I agree with that. And if they're gonna be afraid to speak up, you know what I mean? Like, it can be worrisome because you may worry about your job or how you may look to other people. But like you said, and like Rihanna said, if you're my friend, you want to break bread with me, you want to be around me, you should be able to stick up for me no matter what the cost.
Yeah. I think that for the most part, like, that's a lot of times that people are around you, but are they really your friends?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think we got to start questioning around the people that we got around us, you know? I think for me, it's really difficult to try to put a certain onus on a particular race to defend me in a way. But systemically, I do understand that, you know, a lot of times white America does have the key, you know, to that particular gate. And it's like, if you see me getting played, say something about it.
You're absolutely right. And I had a few friends that, I have friends of all kind of, walks of life. I had some Republican friends. And we would get into it because, I'm like, how can you call yourself being a friend of an African-American woman and being okay with all the things that are being said without saying something about it? And they didn't really understand. I've lost friends, since this new administration came in because of just the insensitivity to the things that we're going through and the things that were being said. And if all that's okay because you get a tax break, then I really can't fuck with you. You're really not fucking with me.
Not for real, for real.
You're not. All right. We have a audience question. Y'all have similar situations going on here. What's going on?
Yes.
What's your name, sir?
My name is AJ Billions.
AJ Billions. You better speak that into existence.
There you go, there you go.
All right. What's your comment or question?
I think it's true. I played professional baseball growing up, and white entitlement and privilege is a real thing. So until they really understand, if they're really our friends, they understand where we're coming from. Like, they don't want to give up their card sometimes because they have the advantage. But when they can really, like you said, have our back, and when they advocate for us and bring those conversations to their dinner tables, invite us to their houses, invite us to their country clubs, then there can be change. But when they have the advantage, the privilege, and don't understand our issues and don't bring our issues into their country clubs and their environments, then nothing gets changed. So you guys are totally right with that. So Rihanna, hats off to you.
That's right. Thank you for that. Thank you. I I love when I see celebrities use their platforms in that manner. And it does make some people in the room uncomfortable, but oh well. If you're uncomfortable, it's because you know you're probably not doing enough.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Remember when Beyonce, like white America loves Beyonce, right?
Yeah.
Until the Super Bowl. When she had the audacity, the unmitigated gall to come out there and she was like Black Power, that whole performance. Remember that?
Yeah.
And some folks kind of turned on her a little bit after that. They thought she was too black. They were like, oh, we thought you were like kind of down with us. Wrong.
Yeah, wrong.
That's when they first realized that she was black for real, for real.
Right. I love that though. I
love it.
Shout out to anyone who's bold enough to do that without worrying, but you know, she can.
And also sometimes the way you do it, like I may have to just play nice for a little while to get my foot in the door so that my voice is louder at this moment. You know, if I had said something before, maybe you wouldn't have heard it. You know what I mean? So now that she is Beyonce, you know, she can come on. She can speak on it, and she will reach more people, and more people will hear her. So
I gotta say though, I'm just so leery about putting that much onus on white America to speak out, because when the problem gets healed, I don't want everybody to be able to say I was the hero that healed that. You know, that's
a good point.
That's a little nervous for me. You know what I mean? I believe that it takes a couple of things to put stuff together. And what can we do for each other? Come understand what I'm going through, and yeah, stand up for me, but I don't know if I'm passing out too many gold medal tickets all the way down to the end. You know what I'm saying? I think we got to work together, and I think that's kind of what Rihanna was saying. You know, you got white friends, but you also got black friends. I got friends from other nationalities. Let's work together and heal this problem.
We need their help, and then we also need us to get together a lot more than we're doing. But we have a lot more work to do ourselves.
I agree.
But it does, I mean, we do got to tip our hat to those people that are bold enough to speak on our behalf.
Facts.
Right in front of that room.
Facts.
Exactly. Now, Blue Ivy made history over the weekend by becoming the youngest NAACP Image Award winner. The 8-year-old took home an award for singing and writing on Brown Skin Girl from Beyonce's album, The Gift. Is Blue following in her mother's footsteps?
That's right.
Yes,
you better go, Blue Ivy.
Okay.
That's all I can say.
Come on with it.
I wish I had those skills when I was her age.
I wish I had those parents.
Listen.
that's it.
Like, damn.
You know what I wish I had is those footprints. You know, is she following her parents? I think she's following their footprints. They're laying a beautiful blueprint for her. You know, a lot of times in our culture, you know, we don't leave a lot. There's not a lot of inheritances. There's not a lot of guidance, not a lot of mentorship in that type of age, and so for her to have that, I think that's so amazing. 8 years old, and to be, wow.
I love the example that Beyonce and Jay-Z sets for other families.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they have the father very, very present, and Beyonce, I mean, who doesn't want Beyonce to be like in their life? You know what I mean? And she's got like, I just love how much they love in that on their girls, on their family actually.
Yeah, and all the kids. And it, like you said, it shows, set your kids up in your own way. You know what I mean? You may not have Jay-Z and Beyonce money, but you have access to something.
Say that.
You don't have access to it, figure out how to get access. Because we can't keep going with taking the generational curse of being broke.
Right.
We can't keep passing that down. You know what I mean? We've got to do something different. So do it in your own way.
That's right.
And it's not forced. You know what I mean? She seems to love what she's doing. She likes being on record. She likes the stuff that she's doing, and I like that, because we don't need no showbiz parents that's leading their kids to do stuff that they really don't want to do, trying to live through the kids, you know?
They're teaching her young. They're teaching her young. So now as she grow older, she's already capable of doing it. You know, she's doing something that, like he said, that she loves to do. And so, I mean, when you're doing something that you love to do and getting paid to do it, and then there's no stopping you there.
That's right. And I love how she has, like, you can tell a child that's raised that just has, like, you know, she has the tools. She has like her self-esteem, because you see that personality, and I love when she gets shade. I love her personality.
She ain't worried. She unbothered about everything.
I know.
She will turn that nose up in a minute.
I love it. All right, let's get the audience involved. Is Blue Ivy following in her mother's footsteps? Let us know by calling us at 866-FOX-SOUL or 866-369-7685. Okay, now a heart-wrenching video went viral of a bullied 9-year-old boy pleading for death after experiencing bullying about his height and dwarfism in Australia. Now, the mother of the son decided to post the video on her social media to let others see the impact that bullying can have on children. Now, once her son expressed thoughts of suicide, she put the video up, and here's the clip.
So I've just picked my son up from school, witnessed a bullying episode, rang the principal, and I want people to know, parents, educators, teachers, this is the effect that bullying has.
I'm gonna do it though.
What do we think about this video? Because actually, I will have to say, okay, so people have been criticizing the video. First, there was an outpour of support for the young boy. Then some video came out of him counting money, and they're saying this kid's not really 9, he's 18, and that they're like scamming for money. What do y'all think about this? Juicy, what do you think?
Oh, my opinion, if I was a parent with a child, and I don't think I would be taping my child saying that he want to kill himself and then post it.
Right.
I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, if it was true, then that's something totally different. But as a parent and your child saying that you want to commit suicide, would you be, as a parent, would you be sit there videotaping your child?
Yeah.
Come on now.
That's a really good point, because if your child's really in pain and I understand making a statement for other kids, but shouldn't you worry about the kid that's right in front of you first? Oh, Mom, I want to kill myself. Hold on, let me get my camera and then film you and then post it.
Because there's a moment where he says, like, what are you doing? Like, you're not doing anything. And it's like, I think people miss that moment because they're so caught up in how he's trying to say that he wants to kill himself. But it's like the mom, he's telling his mother, you're not really helping me either. You are just sitting here recording. You're not helping me. So help your child first. Like, deal with your child and then try to help others. But first, deal with your child.
Yeah. I totally agree with you, and I agree with what you said, Claudia. You know, until you start healing at home, how are you going to try to heal the world?
Right.
You know? Now, to Ms. Juicy's point, like, I do know that social media is a vehicle, and I know that it's a great platform to get a big message across quickly, but not at the stake of your child. You know, we're going to heal you up first, and then we're going to confer. Are you okay with sharing this message? And if so, let's now go on social media, you know?
Because if the child, the child was really going through that, and now you have all these people, now you have people that didn't know about the situation piling on, because not everyone's sympathetic to that, to what the child was saying.
That's true.
Some people use that just for like jokes and memes, and now people are saying, oh, he's lying, he's not really 9, he's 18. So now the kid has more problems now, I think. Miss Juicy, were you ever bullied for over your height?
I didn't take it as bullying. I mean, as you know, I am a little person, but I didn't take it as bullying. You know, I turned every negative situation into a positive situation.
Yes.
I mean, I got made fun of when I was in Don't Laugh. They used to put me in the trash can when I was younger, and they used to scoot it down roll it down the hallway. And you look at it now and think that it was harsh. But I got to leave. I got to get out of class early. So
I didn't know where you were going with this.
The joy of getting out of class early.
So it's like, come on. I'm like, whippy. I was having fun. So it was like, I turned every negative situation. They thought it was making fun of me. No, I'm going to use it to my advantage. I'm going to use it to do this. I'm going to use it to do that. They say I couldn't do that. No, honey, no. I didn't let nothing. I mean, I wish more people can be like me and be turn those negative situations, use all of those stumbling blocks to make them stepping stones, you know, to doing something you want to do.
And you really lived that. When we used to work at the station, I remember one day you came to work, you was upset about something. I won't say what it was about, but you were upset about something. Remember, we had our conversation. That's when I think that's the day we really, really bonded.
Yep.
And like, can I just tell you, you have been kicking ass ever since that day.
Yes.
You was on that show. And I know that you weren't getting paid there like you should have been paid. I'm going to say that right now.
Okay.
But then you got Little Women of Atlanta.
Yes.
And you have been on fire. You are a fan favorite.
True.
You really are, though. But you're not just making a speech here. Like, you really live that. And I remember, this has only been, like, what, 4 years?
4 years.
You turned it around. I heard you got a big old house, too.
Well, you know, little ladies love big things.
I'm proud of you. I really am. All right. Now, retired NBA player Ben Gordon opens up about a suicide attempt and his own struggles with mental health in a powerful essay. He wrote, "I lost my career, my identity, and my family all pretty much simultaneously. I was manic depressive. I was obsessed with killing myself. I don't think I wanted to die, but I just couldn't stand the pain anymore. I took one of those heavyweight jump ropes and I tied it around my neck and I got a chair and I hung myself. Now, how does it feel to see a black man open up about this type of struggle? Because we don't really get to see this or hear this. I think a lot of times, especially in the black community, we really don't like to talk about depression, mental illness, because I think we have this thing that we have to be strong. I'm a strong black man. I'm a strong black woman. So a lot of times, like that, being that vulnerable, we think that's weakness. What do y'all think about this?
It's really heartbreaking to hear, that piece of his story. The comforting part is that he's on the other side of that. I find it to be empowering, though. First of all, vulnerability is so strong to me. It's often seen as a weakness.
It's not.
It's not. It takes a lot, especially at this level of celebrity, you know what I mean, of being known. So I applaud him for being able,
In this day and age, I mean, with social media, even if you're not a celebrity, like everyone has a perception of having just this perfect skin, perfect hair, the snatch waist, everything's photoshopped, everything's like perfect. No one shows their negative or their down days or their sad, their troubling times. So it is really a show of strength to say, listen, I don't have it all together.
And like you said, like him being a black man, like more men need to speak out against that. Like they have these issues and it's okay to seek help, like he said, he didn't think he wanted to die. Luckily, I think that moment, unfortunately, that moment came because he was hanging himself. That's not a way to go quickly. So he probably hadn't, time to rethink things like, wait, I actually don't want to do this. You know what I mean? Other people, if they take a different method, they don't have that second chance. You know what I mean? And what's done is done. So I'm glad that he is now still here and able to reflect on what he was doing. And I think he did mention possibly going to therapy or that he wanted to, but steered away from it. And I just wish we would take that stigma away. Like, it's okay to get help.
Have any of you had suicidal feelings or thoughts or been severely depressed where it was painful? Have any of you felt that ever?
I have, like just where, not suicidal thoughts, but just, depression kicks in when you get to like a certain age, if certain things are not, probably going the way that you, wanted them to go. I lost my father about 5 years ago, moved to a brand new city all by myself. Everything happened like at once. It was a lot for me. But I didn't go to therapy right away. I started therapy about like 2 or 3 years later, and it completely turned me around, made me more of an open person, and I can deal with those things. If I do have a sad moment, dark moment, I know how to flip it around because it's all mental, really. So now I know how to change that thought. How about you?
I've never dealt with, thoughts of suicide in that way, but I've definitely faced some dark times, where I've actually been able to say, now I can see why somebody might be deceived and make that decision that tomorrow's not worth it. I've been there before through my own life, and so I applaud him for, that unveiling of self, and what I'm really grateful for, it just seems to be something about like this 2020 where people are being honest and vulnerable to help free other people. In our culture, being a black man, it takes a lot to be vulnerable, for one, because we told we shouldn't do that. And then to speak about mental health, you know what I mean? I believe in our vulnerability, we are able to help heal somebody else. To me, that is such a big call. That's such a big mantle to be able to carry, to be able to help men in middle America, to be able to help men in prison who are dealing with this same stuff. You see somebody so successful, you think everything's so polished and everything. They're like, look, bro, I got some things going on too, and so I'm applaud him, and I stand by that. And like you were saying, like, get the help you need. Ain't nothing wrong with talking to somebody.
Therapy is okay, and that's what people need to know. Therapy is okay. That's not a sign of weakness at all.
At all.
I mean, we all need therapy.
Most people do.
I feel like they need to talk to other people, to somebody that can understand and make them see it in another light.
And not only that, somebody that won't really judge you. A lot of times we don't want to talk to our friends, our parents, or whatever, because we don't know what they'll say or how they'll react to what we're going through. So that's another reason why therapy is so good.
I respect when people that appear to have it all together are bold enough to do this. I was going through something years ago, well, more than one time, but where I lost everything at once. It was like, I so relate to what he's saying. It wasn't just one thing. It was like this thing and that thing, financially, romantically. It was like everything across the board. I lost everything, and I felt like, damn, what's my life? I have nothing. And we're so judged by what show we're on right now. Oh, you fell off, or you're not popping, you ain't relevant no more. You can't even be off the scene for like 6 months. They'll say you ain't shit. And that's a hard thing. Basically, to be successful in this business, or really most things, you gotta pretty much it's like the odds of winning the lottery like all the time. And I just want people to just be more sympathetic to each other, because you don't know, you making fun or you just piling on could be that thing that pushes someone over the edge. And black people,
Yes.
my people,
Our people.
stop thinking we can pray everything away. Sometimes you gotta use that therapist that God created to help you with your life. Like, we can't.
And Claudia, and stop going to the psychiatrists and psychologists on Instagram.
Right.
You know, a lot of times people will post their frustrations and their discouragements, crying out for attention. You know what I'm saying? Telling all your friends, your relationship business, looking for people to come give you that guidance. Go get you somebody that went to school for that. So you can go ahead and get healed, okay?
All right. We have an audience question. What's your name, sir?
Hi, my name is Anunnaki.
Nice to meet you. What's your question or comment?
I would just like to say I feel like a lot of black men in particular are suffering from being suicidal just because of how the world is shaped now with social media, with, you know, our diets and the different things that we just go through that we hold in. And I feel like it creates this toxicity that we hold in, and we're not really comfortable with like expressing it to other people because we feel like we're going to be judged, especially when you come from a particular area. And so I suffer from PTSD as well, and I go to therapy, and I could tell you that it works, and it's definitely changed my life completely.
I want to thank you before you sit down, because you got up and stood up in front of all these strangers on a TV show, and you said that you have a condition and you're addressing it, and you don't know how many people are watching right now that's going to be like, you know what, if he can do it and still look cool doing it, I could do it. Like,
Real
thank
talk.
you so much for being brave. Thank you. Now, Vanessa Bryant has filed a wrongful death suit against the pilot, Ara Zobian, who flew the helicopter, and the company Island Express Helicopters that owned the helicopter that crashed and caused the death of Kobe, Gigi, and 7 others. The lawsuit asserts that Zoberman was negligent in 8 different ways, including failing to properly assess the weather, flying into conditions he wasn't cleared for, and failing to control the helicopter. What are your thoughts about this lawsuit?
I think it's necessary because 9 lives could possibly still be here had everything gone according to how it was supposed to go. And, you know, if you got the right, you know, conditions to fly in, got the approval that you were supposed to have, those people could possibly still be here.
That was a really foggy day, and I think no other helicopters were flying except that one. And probably the pilot thought, oh, it's Kobe, let me just impress them or whatever. But you can't.
You can't do that.
What are you doing? Like,
No.
It's so sad.
And from what I researched and found, the helicopter wasn't even equipped with the right type of sonographic to be able to see the equipment to be able to see the different mountains and whatever. You was already wrong when you press go and put that thing in drive. You was already wrong there, and so somebody has to be accountable for that. There's no way to lose 9 lives.
And so he should be held accountable for
Definitely.
that. So she did right by filing the lawsuit.
Correction, yes, she filed a lawsuit against the company, not the individual pilot. My bad.
No, I understand. But even still, the company is the parent of. They hired him, so they got to be responsible.
And he also had another infraction he had a few years back for doing something similar. It sucks when it's something that could be prevented. Like, okay, mechanical issues, we understand if there's something that goes wrong. But when it's human error, when it's something that could be...
It's devastating.
It's just
devastating.
It really is. And today was his memorial in Los Angeles, and the whole city is just going through it.
Yes.
The whole world, actually. He touched all of us with his greatness, his love of his daughters. Like, I was in the airport just so choked up today watching, you know, just how strong Vanessa was on stage and talking about her daughter. It was... No mother should have to do that.
No. Her strength is uncanny.
Yes.
It's uncanny to watch her. Even I've seen some of her Instagram posts since it's happened. I'm encouraged, so, you know, it's touching.
Now, the suit is also seeking damages for loss of love, affection, care, society, service, comfort, support, right to support, companionship, solace, financial support for funeral and burial expenses. Our thoughts and prayers will continue to go out to Vanessa Bryant and those families affected by the crash. Now, Harvey Weinstein was found guilty of third-degree counts of rape, as well as a count of criminal sexual act in the first degree. But the jury found Weinstein not guilty on the most serious charge, predatory sexual assault, which could have resulted in a life sentence. Harvey now faces a sentence of 5 to 25 years for the criminal assault, sexual assault conviction, and 18 months to 4 years for the third-degree rape convictions, Was justice finally served?
No.
No.
Not enough?
Not enough. No, not at all. Those allegations that he had against him, they were so thick, you know, and when you think about the cases that have gone before him, we know the names. When you think about the cases that have gone before them and how the books have been slammed on some others, it just don't seem like it's just fanning out right when it came to this. And then, where's Gail and Oprah now?
Okay. They should have slammed the book on him.
But can you name a time when a rich white man was ever really held accountable for anything?
Right, no.
I mean, we have a whole president in office right now that has 17 allegations.
Couldn't even get him impeached.
Allegedly, okay.
Properly.
So, I mean, can you name one? Can we name one
we can't.
white rich man that has been held?
Yeah, I think like sometimes we try to hold out hope because I'm like, okay, well, sentencing, he still hasn't been sentenced. So maybe with the other charges combined, maybe he'll get kind of the max time. It's like you try to have that little bit of hope, like maybe, you know, the justice system has woken up after everything like lately that we've been trying to fight for. It's that little glimpse of hope you just try to have.
It ain't no glimpse of hope because they couldn't even impeach Donald Trump. So, honey. They ain't gonna. They could have went on and slammed the book on this man. He need to be up under the jail.
He does.
So in the cases, I don't know if you guys been following, but some of the women continue to have flirty text messages with them and communicate with them and hang out with them after the alleged rapes. What do y'all think about that?
I mean, he was a very powerful and influential man. They were probably intimidated. It was funny, I just had that thought today, just kind of looking over everything we were talking about, but because that happens, like he held a lot of power and a lot of people's futures were in his hands. And that could have come to a point of like, I don't know what to do. I really can't speak up. Let me just go along with this. It makes it better, it makes it easier.
And that's a common thing. I only bring it up because it is a common thing. Like people, well, if it really happened, why don't you just run away? And I'm like, it's probably a little more complicated than that when this is your entire life. And this is one of the most powerful men.
When you're the victim of something, sometimes you don't even realize I'm being victimized.
Right.
You kind of look up, you like, okay, bro, we're supposed to come over here for a casting. Your hands up on my legs now. What's going on? Sometimes you don't realize it until you're in the midst of it. Now, I do kind of question if you up in court on Monday, but you've been sending texts last Friday talking about what you're doing over the weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It kind of, I can't say that it doesn't kind of turn your eye to see what's really going on, but it doesn't necessarily discredit, you know, their claims.
You think that's probably why he didn't get like the books thrown at him?
No, that's not why.
I don't think so.
We know why he didn't.
No, I don't think so.
Why do you think it is?
Because he's a white male in America.
Because he's a white male in America.
I'm gonna need the other side to like see how like foul this is. Like the example that it's setting. I mean, you see these, they compare cases all the time of people who have done similar things, right? And then there are different reactions. You know what I mean? Like I posted this meme. There was a woman in Texas who, voted while she was on probation. She got 5 years in prison. And then you got Roger Stone. They're trying to get him out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like blatant miscarriages of justice, and just like it's so obvious how unfair it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, are we the only ones tripping? And like Rihanna said, we're gonna need some of our friends that are not black to speak on it as well.
Right.
Because it can't just be us pointing out this isn't fair.
Yeah.
All right, we have an audience question. What's your name, Miss?
Lydia.
Hey, nice to meet you. What's your comment or question?
My question is, do you think that the fact that there were 7 men on the jury had an influence on that decision?
I do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
it's just how men and women, I mean, and I don't want to say a blanket statement because I can't, but I mean, obviously they didn't see it as severe as some of us see it. When I talk to some men about like rape and stuff like that, it's just, sometimes it's a different definition.
Oh, yes.
You can't stop me when our clothes are off. You already gave consent. And I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah.
I really don't. What do you think about it?
Well, there were only 5 women on the jury. And I do think there tends to be a gender imbalance on how we see rape and sexual assault, and the fact that so many women have experienced sexual assault in their lives. And yes, men have too, but it's not on the same level as women. And I think had there been more women on the jury, it would have been a different outcome.
Thank you so much for that.
I agree. That's a good point.
Makes a good point. I think the definition of rape in itself. I think there's just we're not on the same page.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think some men or some people think that rape is some stranger jumping out of a bush and be like, raping you or just attacking you, right? And that's really not the majority of how it happens. The majority of it happening is someone you know.
Yes.
It's a power thing more than a sexual thing. It's really about power, right? And it's not, so if you're not thinking, you're like, I'm not a creepy guy that jumps out with a knife and attacks. We're just out for drinks, and she says no, and I say yes. Well, she's already with me. I spent all this money.
Yep.
Why not? Or she wants something that I have, and I want something that she has. I think the definition of rape is what needs to be very clear between the genders.
Yeah.
I think it's so much the crime of rape. Let's just unpack that. The crime of rape is so much entitlement in that, but a lot of times in white America, that seems to be the thing. That's what the whole thematic, that's what Rihanna was talking about. You know what I mean? It's this entitlement base. Why can't we not define rape? Why can we not say, you did something I said no about and that not be rape? Right. You're facing 25 years and you can possibly get 18 months. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Super crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because of who you are.
Because of who you are.
It doesn't matter who you are. If she said no, it's no.
That's right. That's right.
And like you said, when the Me Too movement started happening, it opened up the conversation a lot more. Like you said, you were realizing that certain men really don't know the definition. And I was seeing on social media that a lot of men started to kind of self-reflect and realize in certain situations, like, oh, I kind of was the creep here, and I didn't realize it, And so it's like a lot of times we're always warning women what to do and what not to do around men, what to do on dates, and we are not taking that same responsibility and putting on the men or the boys when they're starting them little. Teach them how to treat a woman, teach them the respect, and it starts there.
And I have to say this because, again, I'm not a one-sided show. I'm a woman, but I'm definitely fair. I despise people that use false rape claims against someone to get someone back, to pay someone back, because that's the problem why women who really do get raped are not believed, and it's not taken seriously when someone's mad, oh, I'm going to say you raped me, when you weren't raped. And the lives you're ruining when you do that. So it's just a word that we just need to have more, we have to take it more seriously and respect the people that have gone through that, respect their experiences and not use that as something to play around with. It's not your trump card to jam someone up.
Right.
So I think we have to have more discussions about this.
And being careful how we victimize victims. You know what I mean? A lot of times when women come out, people often, they're lying. They're lying because it's been time that's gone by or because a man is really powerful.
What was she wearing? She must have wanted something.
All that.
Newsflash, rich men can rape women too, and that doesn't make the woman a groupie for wanting to hang out with them.
That's true.
That doesn't make the woman lying because the man is someone that you admire or is a sports star or a movie star or whatever. That's something else. Yeah, that's
I agree.
That's pretty frustrating that the woman's usually not believed.
Usually not, fortunately.
All right, in lighter news, in news of, I guess this is armpit news we have? It's been reported that Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg had his members of his communications team break out a hairdryer for his sweaty armpits prior to him taking the stage at some company events. What are your thoughts about this? He's that rich, he got personal armpit fan blowers so he won't be sweaty.
I wish I could do that.
Okay.
Needed one before this show. Do y'all have one?
We ain't there yet now.
I can't take none of that. Listen, when I done went to school and I'm still paying on student loans, I did not go to school to come sit up and drive under your arms.
Can you imagine? How do you even get that job?
No,
right?
It couldn't be just a regular job. Where is that at on the application?
Man, whatever. I wish I was, man. I have somebody, lip gloss, please. Or something, honey.
You have someone do it for you, but would you do it for someone else?
No, I'm saying somebody do it for me. I didn't say I'm going to do it.
She in that CEO seat. She's trying to nah.
Yes,
what I look
man.
like sitting up doing this for 4 minutes while you drying my
Well, that's
arms?
you, but if I can afford somebody to do it for me, baby, go ahead and blow dry.
That's pretty embarrassing, though, that he has a sweaty armpit.
It is.
But like I said, he gets nervous. So when you get nervous, you get a little more.
When you get nervous, you use more deodorant.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
you sweat more. sure.
Well, sometimes that is a condition, so you don't know if he had the condition.
Baby, when you a billionaire like you are, you can get a cure for everything.
Well, you don't know how much he was paying that man to do that either.
Well, that's true too.
I mean, you probably would for a couple of thousand, a couple of grand, you know. I'll be blow drying up on that arm too. I can reach it. I'm right there.
I think you put Botox on. I think Botox makes you not sweat on your arms.
Yeah.
I've heard. Yes. Have any of y'all had any embarrassing moments that taken place before you had to do like a public appearance? You said you had one kind of today, but
yeah, just being nervous. But no, I think like one of my first times doing a red carpet, like I just was like, my nerves were like just there, and it was like a pretty decent carpet, and I was like talking to the person, and I could not get my words out for nothing, and it was like, this has actually happened, so I can't pause, you know what I mean? Like I was trying to stop and gather myself, and my brain was just on like, so I have no words now. I was like, all right, thank you for coming by. Like I couldn't even really fix it. It was just done. Like, all right.
Any embarrassing moments for you, Judy? I remember we tried to put you on a mechanical bull one night. Remember that?
But that wasn't embarrassing because y'all put me up
For
there.
you, I almost threw my back up trying to get you up there.
Well, you should have tried because this is a lot of meat, girl.
I know you strong.
Well, the embarrassing moment is like one time I was doing a stage play and I had forgot my words. While, you know, stage plays are live. So we live in front of like 3,000 or 4,000 people, and I forgot the words, and I didn't know what to do, so I just started dropping like it was hot on the stage all the way across until I was out of breath, so I just, like, I'm taking it.
And it worked.
I was embarrassed, but it worked, you know. So,
I love that. How about you?
One time I was at work working a red carpet, corresponding, and this particular carpet was like Black Hollywood legends. And so, a lot of times you're waiting for the talent to come on and you're just kind of sitting and sitting and sitting. Well, while I'm sitting, my mouth closed, I ain't had no water, I've been chilling. And so here comes Richard Roundtree, you know, legendary actor. And as I'm interviewing him, I mean, I'm talking good. I'm getting a taste and I'm like, I should have had a mint before I had this. You know, I'm like, Lord, please cover me. I hope I don't sound ridiculous.
Oh, no. See, worry about the breath there.
That part, yeah.
that part.
I was going to an event, and it was Magic Johnson used to have this like Midsummer Night's Week. It was like a weekend. It was great events. And I thought I was so cute. It was one of my first times putting a ponytail in my hair. Like I had it, like, you know, you snatch it up and you wrap the ponytail, the hair around. Y'all ladies know what I'm talking about. Anyways, I was walking across the street and these guys in the car, they was like yelling something at me. I was like, whatever. And I like did that, right? And I realized when I got across the street, they weren't like trying to holler. My ponytail had unraveled. It was all the way down my back. It was like 6 feet long down behind me. Yeah, that'll teach me.
You had a train.
Yeah, it's not looking good. All right, now. Hey, Disney is making history by choosing Lena Waithe as its first LGBTQ character in their upcoming animated film Onward. Now, according to Yahoo, Lena will play Officer Spectre, a Cyclops cop that makes a short but meaningful appearance in the film. What are your thoughts on Disney making this bold but much needed choice? And is it unfortunate that we're still in a day and age where history is still being made, you know, when it comes to sexual orientation and race? It's still like, oh, the first. We're still doing that in 2020.
Hooray to Disney for finally doing it. I mean, because I feel like talent speaks for itself. It doesn't matter what community you're a part of.
That's right.
So talent speaks for itself. And it's a shame that we're still in this day and age, though. I mean, why are we still here?
Right.
You know, I mean, they've been coming out, people of color, people of the LGBT community, they've been coming out for the longest. I mean, we all have talent. Why not go out and flaunt it? And we should be recognized for it.
That's right. Hey, Disney. What do you think?
And not only that, but giving people a place to see themselves, even if it is in animation, if it's in a cartoon, people still can relate to that character, because that's another problem is like you grow up so often not seeing yourself in things in entertainment. You know, you see like one image. So and shout outs to Disney because they've come a long way, because I know with like when they launched Disney Plus, they had to have a disclaimer for a lot of their old content. Like, well, we won't change it. It's a lot of people's favorites, but there were insensitive things in these animations, so they had to have a disclaimer against that. But look at what they're doing now. So you learn, you know what I mean, and learn that inclusion is important.
Okay, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think every audience should be able to see themselves represented, you know, whether on film, whether on television, and yes, even in, you know, animation. It is a touchy subject because you're dealing with children, but I believe that we are in a time and a season where that conversation can be had more appropriately and understood, and doesn't have to necessarily ride the politically correct wave in order for it to be understood. I mean, you have like Dwayne Wade's daughter, Zaya, who is now speaking out and bringing that sort of attention. So yes, I do applaud Disney for meeting a need for someone like Zaya, you know what I mean, or somebody that's in some of our hometowns. So I'm with it.
What do you guys? That's right. What do y'all say to the critics that think that, you know, talking about sexuality is, you know, and sexual identity is it's too young of an age in cartoons? Because people say that. Like, that's one of the things the critics of Zaya. You know, why are we talking about a 12-year-old like this and their genitals, and which we shouldn't be talking about the genitals, of course. But what do y'all think about that? Because people are really having strong opinions. Like all last week, that's all we're talking about.
I think it's a misconception of gender and sexuality. Like a lot of people hear about transgender and they automatically put it with sexuality, and that's not really always the case. This child is just saying they identify as a girl. They didn't say that I like girls, I like boys. It was never a topic of who I like. This is about who I am.
But most of America doesn't think they're not
they don't.
as woke or informed.
They don't.
And
like,
that's why I'm bringing up the question.
Right,
I think people need
I think, but that's why I said it's a misconception that a lot of times people think that it's about sexuality. So I think if more people can come forward, like Dwayne Wade, and he's supporting his child to say, like, this is just about transgender, you know what I mean? So we just need to have the conversation more that this doesn't have anything to do with sexuality. So you shouldn't be afraid to talk to your children about it, because we're not pushing you on to like someone else. It's just a conversation.
So so to put it in layman's terms, it's not about who this child wants to be with romantically, physically, in a relationship. It's about how this child feels in its soul, in her soul. I had a friend that was transgender when I, you know, like 40 years ago, like a long time ago when we were little, and always felt that she was born in the wrong body. And before this became so popular, it was like the only person I knew like that. So I, like, very early on, I got to have these conversations and see how devastating it was to my friend to feel that she was really born in the wrong body and despised her body because she felt like it was almost a deformity. And that's how deep it was for my friend, that it wasn't like, I'm not trying to be cute, or it's not about being a model and being in drag. It's about, I feel like my soul is a woman. And that was pretty deep too. And I'm glad I had that conversation with someone and got to see it, like at the kind of like the ground level, you know?
Yeah, I kind of, you know, I applaud, you know, Disney. First of all, let's go back. Disney is creating the conversation. You know what I mean? I can applaud them for that. In dealing with this case scenario with Dwayne Wade's daughter, you know, you don't know what it's like unless you know what it's like living an experience that is not your own. And so for, you know, Disney allowing that conversation, and for us having conversations like this about identity, you know, when they talk about Zaya, and she wasn't saying I'm trying to bust down Tatiana. She said, this is how I feel about me. And I think when we approach it from that standpoint and start unpacking it from that, get out your feelings about everything, you know?
Exactly.
What do you think?
I feel like we should embrace and we should love them, our young generation. We should let them know that whatever they choose is okay. They're not, I mean, who's to say they're different? You know, we should embrace them and let them know it's okay. It's okay to be different. It's okay.
Is this something that is different in the black community, like received differently in the black community versus the white community? Because like we are such a community that's so church, and the Bible said, and we will find a way to make it wrong, right? We will find things in the Bible that support our argument all the time, right? So what do you think about that? Because, you know, a lot of black folks that have gone through this have been like basically exiled from their families. I had a show, and when I did my show in Dallas, I had members of the transgender community come on, and they all had that in common, where their parents didn't accept them. They didn't have that love that, you know, Dwayne and Gabriella giving to Zaya. They didn't have that. And it was so sad to hear like them being ostracized and kind of like abandoned by their own families.
But I think that's in all community. I don't think that's just in black community. I think that's in all. I mean, like, that's the reason I was saying, I feel like as a whole, we should take our young generation and love them, show them that it's okay. You know, they don't have to be the same as you are. They don't have to be the same. They don't have to be tall, beautiful, and flawless, or they can be short and drop dead gorgeous as well.
Hey!
I'm just saying, it's It's okay.
Yeah.
If they want to be gay, it's okay. If they want to be straight, it's okay. Live their life, enjoy, embrace themselves, love themselves. Because you can't love nobody else if you don't love yourself.
That's true.
I agree with Ms. Juicy, but I got a little segue on that. I do think that homosexuality and gender identity, it takes a different turn in the black community. And a lot of it is, I mean, we can go back if we want to go back to like slavery, you know what I mean? Where they would demasculate the top men, you know what I mean? So, and rape them. This is history.
A lot of times, as soon as they got off the boat.
Yeah,
you know,
in front of their family.
Let it be known.
You know, and that created the mindset that this is invalid. This is an invalid thing if this is what you're involved in. This is a demasculating thing. Then lumping on up, you know, even in those days, church and our gospel believings and Christianity was the thing that kept us through all that. And so then you go back, well, what were you taught there? Where you were taught this is not right, or this is right, or you should hide that. So then it creates this environment, and that's in our culture. You know what I mean? So I do think that sometimes, you know, Hispanics or white America, they deal with it a little bit differently, but being black and being gay and being an American and especially being a male, it's a whole nother bear than dealing with white suburbia, for sure.
Well, we can say that because we're dealing with it because we are black. But I have some white friends that are going through it too.
Yeah.
That went through that as a young child. So that's the only reason why I'm speaking. I'm not saying I'm pro-black and I'm pro-white. I'm not saying that because I know we look at it differently because we are black and then we know about that in our culture, but we don't know about that in their culture.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Unless we've been there and we walked the walk. Just like they can't speak on what happened with us because they haven't been in our shoes and they haven't walked that walk. So they don't know what our ancestors been through and how they was ostracized, and like we don't know what theirs been through either.
Yeah,
So,
I think it's
but I know I've had white friends that have been written off because they are gay or because they believe a certain belief. And so.
And like you said, you brought up religion. I think it's a lot of communities that have a very, very strong religious belief. I think those are the ones as well that kind of like they will ostracise their children because, like you said, like it's in the Bible, like this is wrong, you know. When it's also in the Bible not to judge people.
I was about to say it's such hypocrisy. It
is.
Like I'm so religious that I'm going to ostracize my own flesh and blood because they are gay or they are trans or they're doing something I don't agree with. So let me just like banish them. But I'm a good Christian.
Right.
Exactly.
And meanwhile, all the kids out of wedlock.
Everybody got a different last name. All right, y'all. I don't know if you've seen this, but a largely white choir from Western Michigan University is under fire after a black student posted a video of the group performing Negro spirituals. Check it out. They really tried it. They tried it. Now, Shaylee Fott, a senior at the university, shared the video on social media and says the instructor doesn't believe these songs belong to just one race of people. I think we all know the answer to this, but is it okay for non-black people to sing Negro spirituals? And is this just another example of cultural appropriation? We all know the answer to that.
Yes.
Y'all know it wants to be.
Right.
They want to be black so bad, but they don't want to be black.
Oh,
they want all the stuff. They think that's cool to sing Negro spirituals.
And it's like, why do you want to do it now during Black History Month?
This is the worst Black History Month of history. I
You
swear.
can't wait till next month.
This Black History Month has been terrible.
Oh, my God.
It's been trash. With all the things that have happened this month. What do y'all think about this? Negro spirituals, choir.
To be honest with you, like, I sung in the choir when I was in college, and I actually grew up in Michigan. That clip made my skin itch. You know what, sometimes it's what I call doing the right thing the wrong way. Thank you. Thank you for doing something for Black History Month, but let us handle that from here. You know what I mean? And that ain't even how the song go.
Right?
So do you find it insulting that they tried it, or are they trying to, bring awareness. I don't know what they're doing.
I don't think you're not. If you're not trying to bring awareness, if you want to say like, oh, this isn't just for Black people, it's for everybody. So then you're taking away from the pain that we've sang with it. You know.
So diminishing it. They've done that quite often with us, though. Like when we said Black Lives Matter, no.
Yes. It's that same thing. It's that same thing.
So those songs don't belong to you, although they were Negro spirituals.
Those are Negro spiritual. Those are in the book. That's in the Bible. Not really.
Sometimes people sing things and don't even know the meaning behind it. So.
Yes.
I'm tired of giving excuses. They knew that. They knew. You college education. You know that those are Negro. I know what you said, Mitch. Not to counter your point. They may not know the background, but you know you singing a Negro spiritual during Black History Month.
They knew what they were doing, but they didn't know what they were saying. I mean, they knew they were singing Black Negro spiritual, but I bet you damn one of them can tell you the meaning behind it. That's what I'm saying.
I see what you're saying.
Right.
Where's the respect, though?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I feel like us as a people, they're constantly disrespecting, like with the bullshit fashions, with the blackface. Oh, we didn't know that monkey lips were offensive to you?
Yeah.
What? With all the things they constantly try. Like at this point, it's not a mistake. It's not a I didn't know. I feel like, is it an agenda? Are they trying to piss us off? Are they trying to trigger us? Is it fun? Is it in style? Is it trendy to trigger Black people? Because I feel like it's been happening a lot.
I think they're trying to see how far they can go. How far are we going to let them go? Just point blank.
Are we letting them go far? Are we doing anything about it?
Not enough.
Not enough.
I don't know what else to do, though, but not enough.
We're damned if we do, damned if we don't, though, right? We do something about it. We're overreacting. We're angry Black people. Here we go again complaining. And we don't do anything about it, then we have that sick feeling in our stomach. Like, again?
Yeah.
I was talking to someone the other day about, I feel like a lot of times as a Black male, we have to adjust to so many different people. We go to work, we got to put on our 9-to-5 voice. We travel, it's like we do a lot of adjusting. And I don't feel like a lot of times white America adjusts to what it is, to our experience. So take the time. Sometimes I think that like Rihanna was saying, have them pull up. Well, in this world, that could be their version of pulling up. You know what I mean? But it's like, you can't pull up until you understand what I'm going, like what you're saying and what that means and how that hit my belly. You didn't take the time to do that. And so I'm back offended. Because to me, you just doing something to do it for the sake of this. Would it be a Black History Month? It just seemed like a setup.
Back to respect. There's certain things that I'm like, I will never know the feeling of how Jewish Americans feel, right? With the Holocaust and the things they went through. I don't touch it for fear of offending that community. I would never make jokes about it. I would never make light about it. Never. I would never like create fashions based on it. But they seem to do that to us all the time. And slavery is no less painful than the Holocaust.
Not at all.
So if you can understand how that is offensive to a group of people with the history, then why can't you see how it's offensive to us and stop doing that bullshit? Right? It's easy. It's so easy.
Before you try to be like me, take the time to get to know me. You know what I mean? And where I come from and what my experiences are. You do a better job at that, there'll be a lot less offense.
Exactly. All right, so in other race news, I don't know if y'all seen this comic strip. The Peanuts comic strip, they posted a photo on their social media over the weekend of Charlie Brown looking at his Black friend and saying, "You're one of the good ones." This post has now been deleted. What do y'all think about this? You're one of the good ones. What do you think he meant by that?
That's the question. What did he
First of all, why is it just one? You know what I mean? Why are you signifying as one like it ain't enough of good ones that you got to signify this one? And of course, I mean, there's a lot of cast of characters on
Peanuts.
The Peanuts. They got a lot of people they could have put over there.
They could have used a little dusty pig pen with the little flies around him. A little dusty one. They could have used him. They could have used anybody on there. But they chose the Black one to say, you're one of the good ones. Are they, again, trying it and then playing dumb? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, they are. And then it's like, to your point, like, but why? And we can't answer that, but like, what is your point? Because we know, you know better, you know what I mean, than to do that. And if that is how you want to pay homage to Black History Month, like that's utterly disrespectful.
They'll probably say, oh, we meant you're one of the good humans or good friends. But then they use that.
It's almost like saying you people, you know what I mean?
You saw his face, he looked confused too.
This reminds me when I was younger, when I was growing up, my father's black, my mom's an immigrant from Italy, but of course I was raised, and I am a black woman. I remember being in neighborhoods where we'd be the only black family, and some of my white friends would want to tell a black joke in front of me, and they would preface it by something like this, like, you're not like them, and that was their disclaimer, like, now I can go on to tell my black joke about them. Like, almost like, you know, you're better than them. So let me go ahead and talk about these people over here. And I would be like, no, I'm just like them.
Just like.
Maybe more so. So don't try it. And it was like, it just brought back like that kind of like, it's on purpose. It's not an accident.
Exactly.
I'm tired of giving passes.
Yeah.
All right, in honor of Black History Month, we would like to pay our respect to the late Katherine Johnson, who recently passed away today. One of her greatest contributions to space exploration was helping to put a man on the moon. And that's the movie Hidden Figures. I always say Hidden Colors, Hidden Figures was about, so rest in peace to her.
Yes.
You know what? I enjoyed you guys coming through today.
Thank you.
And we got to talk about a bunch of different topics. And I don't know what the takeaway is. I guess we have to, you know, kind of not be surprised when they try it, and not be afraid to call it out.
Right.
In a way where we don't come off as angry, because then we're just proving them right again. But I would like for us to just show each other more love.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, amongst each other. I mean, the world has so much going on right now.
Right.
And you never know when, you know, you're gonna get called home. So we have to really, every day, show love to each other.
Yes.
Yeah, we really do. I want to thank my guests, Miss Juicy Smith and Elle Marie, for joining me in the ladies' room. And thanks to our amazing studio audience. And thank you so much for watching us on the Fox Soul TV mobile app. See you tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Up next is On the 7 with Dr. Sean, and he's having a conversation with Afro-Latinos about race. That's next. You don't want to miss it. Stick around. Hey.